First things first, what you want to do on this page is you go ahead and click this button. As you click this button, a spot will open up here and then a actual window on the right hand side would open as well. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Just go click that button. So what you want to do is you want to add the person's name first. So once you do that, initially, the initial date is already added. It's just automated. I created that. What you want to do is go down these areas. So you would want to pick uh, a mid check-in. So you can go ahead and do that on the calendar area. If you want to add a reminder, that's probably good too because it brings it up as a reminder for you in your profile. So you'll get a message identifying that you have to go ahead and initiate the mid-year check-in. And it's the same thing with the annual evaluation too. Just gives you a quick reminder. You can do it as day before, week before, whatever decision you make on this, you can make that determining factor for you. So that's that. So you want to identify the first line supervisor, second line supervisor, number of years. So if you want, you can put a photo of the employee, identify the birth date. This year is completed this year. Reason why we have that is in this area here, you'll have completed and then you'll have current. So if you click on this button when you're doing your evaluations, it will automatically go to completed. Here, this is team performance rating. I'll go through that in a little bit. Same thing here last year. And your standards rating and your values rating, and I'll go over that too in the information below. So what you want to do is every year, instead of creating a new uh, page or a person, which will have replication, what you want to do is just go ahead and click this button and automatically below information, as you see here, will show up so you can identify the year. So then every time you click uh, the button itself, it automatically gives you a template here. All you have to do is just identify the year and then just go through the prompts here. So I'm not going to really go into so many of the prompts because it's a lot. I don't think you want me to go through this and you just watching, but I'll just really quickly just show you what's in the prompts. So as you can see here, this is for your initial sit down with the person. So if you have a new employee, of course, you do the initial sit down. But even if you don't have a new employee, you would want to do an initial sit down to establish a performance objectives. So that's why this is here. So once you identify these days and you go through the prompts, just go through the prompts. I created it so it's too easy. Just go through the prompts in each stage. The midpoint, this is your check-in. So as we saw above the date, this is when you would do the midpoint. And again, you just click on these toggles and all you have to do is just go off the information, read the information, then go off the information through here and capture this information. Your annual review, this is the big word here. So what your annual review, what you want to do is go through the motions as usual. Again, the biggest significant one here is the performance criteria. matrix. So if you click on that, this will show you a little matrix here. Now, this matrix itself is talked about in some of the instructions information in this page. So what you want to do is ensure that you fill out this information. This is the most pertinent information. You don't have to worry about the percentages because I've created it in a way that would be conducive. But I talk about this in the instructions information flat. So I wouldn't really mess with these unless you really want to. If you wanted to, you can just come here and just adjust it. But I've created it where uh, the weights are pretty good in conjunction with the criteria that it's weighted against. So what you want to do is just ensure that you score the person 1 to 10. As you do that 1 to 10, so for example, I'll just do this right here. Do this real quick. So, okay. So as you see here, everything starts to calculate here on the weighted score. Now this weighted score is a 63.5. Now, you're probably asking what the hell does that mean? Well, I created a score area here. Like I said, all I'm explaining to you is what is identified here. And this is where you want to see and actually see if this person is below expectations, meets expectations or exceeds expectations. So as you can see here, person is pulling a 63.5. So that means meets expectations. I created this performance rating just to give you a really easy way to not overthink things. So you're going to use this number. So this number 63.5, you want to add it up to the top here. So here, all right, it's going to be 63.5 and automatic needs to look all little donut circle there. Now, if you had from last year, then what you want to do is add the last year piece here, and this is the current piece there. So that's that. So going into the other pieces here, the standard ratings, and the values rating, but this comes into me. You when you talk about our year, or this here is your values and standards. So when we do the initial evaluation, we are going to explain to them what the values, mission, vision, principles, and standards of the organization. Now, what you're going to do is when you do the initial, of course, you're going to go for this, but then what you want to do is understanding of the organization of others. So they need to understand that. So you go through these organizational standards, which are here. And then you read over here, just a little bit more information, and then just give them an example of how they can apply it. And then ensure that they can summarize the pillars themselves and check that they do understand that. So since you already did that in the initial phase, yeah, what you review is at the end phase. You talk about this here is you are going to rate them. So the values and standards are not really a numerical value, it's more uh, intangible. So what you want to do is just identify if they meet these. They meet improvement, leads, or exceeds. And so here, uh, this piece here would be, okay, related to improvement is one things with purpose. So that's that. And what you do is with that, you want to go ahead and above, ensure that these are being captured above. Something talked about the values. So values need to be you know, standard way. So that's how you could work that. Now, how it would look afterwards when this is all completed. Of course, I didn't apply all of this information here, but if you go back to their evaluations, it would show up as something like this, which you can see here. It created a reminder that this is how it would look. And then this is the initial look, and then the completed evaluations and the evaluations of last year. So that's basically how this performance evaluation for employees works.